All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today, just dealing with, this topic, okay, of Deuteronomy, 21 and 10 on down, dealing with the laws, particular laws of warfare, as it came to the Israelite man, taking spoil, okay, the heathen women, okay. So I want to go in from an angle, dealing with, Jake, these other camps, and certain men of these other camps, mainly, IUIC, okay, and what you see amongst these guys, when they teach, first, we know these guys, have sold out for the most part, and they set up, to cause confusion, okay? And then from another aspect, these men, are suffering, which we all, are being healed, from the culture of Babylon, okay? But what you see amongst these guys is men, who teach from the aspect of not wanting to offend the woman, okay? Because we know a part of, Jake culture, all right, is the worship of women, and Jake culture, so-called black culture, all right, the woman, is a deity, whether it's your mother, your auntie, all right, women in general, women have been deified, okay, amongst, all right, the tribes, okay, and the woman has a beautiful order, okay, but under this system of Edomite supremacy, okay, where, the culture was altered, to single mothers, all right, single mother households was the norm, which most of us come from, okay, well, the woman, was deified as a hero, and you have, this society, okay, that pushes the woman to be innocent, to be a victim, okay, in any little accomplishment that she does, okay, she should be glorified as a hero, simple, duties that a woman, was supposed to do anyway, okay, cook, clean, raise children. Well, this society says a woman should be greatly rewarded and praised and, pedestalized, okay, for doing her daily woman duties, okay, well, the women have been doing from the beginning, okay, but this society, and especially amongst, okay, so-called black culture, you see, the woman, okay, is pedestalized and deified and praised and worshiped, all right, for doing the basic things that women are supposed to do anyway, okay? And I say a woman has a beautiful role, and a woman is important for nation building. We're going to expound on that as well, okay? But the way we've been taught, okay, to, pedestalize and praise a woman in this society is off, okay? And ultimately it's idolatry, you see? And any mindset, anything, anytime you see any organization, any man, okay, in general, okay, anything where the woman is deified and pedestalized, well, you're going to have dysfunction, chaos, okay, and stagnant. It's going to be stagnant, okay, because if you're building anything, if you're, okay, doing anything, all right, and you base the decision making, all right, on the emotions, you see, and the opinions of a woman, all right, you're gonna be all over the place. And black culture, you know, is a living example, okay, of the mind of a nigga woman, okay, because black culture, you see, is under the what? The subjugation of the nigga woman emotions and her opinion. The whole culture is framed off the nigga woman emotions and opinions. Okay? So if you want to see, all right, what the woman in charge looks like, well, just look at black culture, nigga culture. Okay? Just look at our people today. Okay? That's what a woman in leadership leads to. Okay? And women, I say they have their role, but it's under a man. Okay? And when you have, the correct balance, all right, the Israelite man being under Yahweh Bashim Shai, okay, and the Israelite woman being under that man, okay, now you're talking about something that's pleasing to the Lord, okay, and now you're talking about uh, a union, okay, that can be beneficial to nation building, okay, because the man is thinking about more than himself, and the woman is thinking about more than herself, okay, and you look at, our foremothers that are mentioned, that have a good report in the scripture. Well, what do they have in common? Okay, first of all, humility. Okay, and there's a heavy reverence for men. Okay, there's a heavy reverence that they have for Israelite men. Okay, and they all had a perspective where they was put themselves in a predicament. Okay, to benefit the nation. We look at Abigail; she stuck her neck out there to benefit the nation, to keep, young David, all right, young King David innocent, okay, and to protect, innocent men from being killed on behalf of her husband, okay. And you look at, Judah, okay. She pretty much she was like she moved. She used her femininity to be like special forces, okay. For what? For the nation. They were nation minded, okay. You look at Sarah, okay. She gave her handmaid to Abraham for the sake of what? The nation, the lineage, the legacy of her husband, okay. And these women don't think like that today, okay. None of these women think like that, all right. They're not thinking about legacy of Israel, being nation minded. They're not thinking like that, okay. That's why their decision making is still based on emotions, okay. You see, it has nothing to do with your legacy, okay. When you go into the Bible deals with legacy, okay. The Bible is generational, okay. The modern woman hasn't been taught to think like that, okay. So you confound the doctrine, okay, to the opinions and the emotion of the woman, all right. Well, you're going to have to water the doctrine down, okay, to do that, man. To be appeasing to the woman, make this doctrine, woman friendly. Well, you have to strip away, okay, the concept of nation building, okay, the concept of, all right, the man's, okay, order, you know, the will of Yahweh Bashim Shai, okay, the concept of a true marriage, which is based on duty and responsibility, not romance, okay, and you will have to trim away at the doctrine, okay, to make it appease, all right, the modern woman, okay, which is only concerned about her goddamn self, man. Okay? So when you read the book of Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 8, it said, remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Okay? So one of the things that the Lord requires of us is to show ourselves men. Okay? And you look at how our forefathers moved. Okay? When you read the scriptures, you see, they had a what you call a true masculine frame. Okay? And when it came to the will of the Lord, all right, they was unmovable. They didn't budge. Okay? And they didn't care about the results or how anyone felt about it. You see? So we, coming up in this matriarch, one of the things that we have to, get back to, okay, is remembering ourselves men. Because what this world taught us a man was, all right, had nothing to do with being a man according to the scriptures. You see? And this, especially amongst nigga culture, being a man was linked to, just a bunch of sex with random women. Okay? How dangerous you were to your own people. Okay? Those are the choice males amongst, okay, nigga culture. You see? How much you can trick off on a woman, how much you can splurge on a woman. Those things were linked to manhood. Okay? You see? Or being a do-boy for the woman. You see? Well, this man, but this, this Edomite supremacy system, okay, which doesn't allow you to be a man, okay, and what they tell you a man is has nothing to do with being a man according to the scriptures, okay. So when scriptures speak about us being born again, we have to look at, we have to, rethink. We have to be reprogrammed about what a man truly is, okay, because a man don't exist, all right, to make the woman happy, okay, all goddamn day. As a man, you want to please, you want to, you want your woman to be comfortable, you want her to be cool, you want her to be straight, and it's a, it's a complementary relationship between man and woman, because the more the woman is in order, okay, the more you do want to go all out for the woman, okay, and that's the relationship the Lord has with Israel. That's why you see in the remnant, okay, it's getting in order. The more that the Lord is starting to do in the earth, okay, on behalf of that remnant. You see? So, the more in order a woman is, the more, all right, as a man, you do want to go all out. You do want to, shower her with, with blessings according to your ability. Okay? But then on the opposite, okay, the less in order she is, if she's disobedient, okay, you be want to abandon her goddamn ass, man. You see? So when we come into this truth, because we all came up in under this matriarch vibration of a culture, okay, and a lot of men have never seen, okay, men dominate the woman. You never seen, there's a lot of, okay, of our people, they never seen a functioning marriage. They never seen their woman, their mother, their aunties, their grandmothers be in order under a man. Okay? And as you grow up like that, okay, it does something to your psyche to where the top authority, okay, is a woman, okay? then you grow up with this mindset, all right, that everything you do, you're considering the woman's emotions and her opinions, okay? And that's an undeveloped mind, okay? That's an underdeveloped, okay, twisted way of thinking as a man, okay? Because there's things where you do consider the woman, okay? And then there's certain situations where the woman's opinion and her emotions, all right, have to be shut down, okay? Because you'll never get anything done, okay? You'll never make real progress, okay? If you're considering the woman's emotions and opinions in every decision you make as a man, okay? So we have to be reprogrammed on what a man is and the way we look at women, you know? Because this society has taught us to take women way too serious, man. You know, I say the woman has a major role, an important role within the nation. Okay, it's just this society. Okay, it's taught, you know, the woman. Okay, to not take the man serious. Okay, and men to take the woman too serious, and that's an off balance. Okay, because a lot of times you have to catch ourselves as men and be like, man, you see, I'm taking this shit too serious, man. You know? And then the woman, it ain't that she's all the time like she's intentionally trying to, okay, you know, be wicked or be off. Okay? It's just about the way we as men have been taught, okay, to look at women and the perception we have of what a woman, you know, is off. Okay? And we start coming to these realizations and start to make those adjustments. Okay, we see, okay, all right, this is more efficient now. You know, and the Lord has put us in position to where, hey, we can begin to take back, okay, our manhood. We still in this society, like I said, Edomite supremacy doesn't permit, okay, the Israelite man to truly be a man. Okay, that's why it's a system, okay, that empowers the woman. Okay, you know, and it takes the power away from the Israelite man. Okay, so within this system, we'll never be, you know, what we're supposed to be, what we was meant to be, and that's why, you know, we pray and haste the day this place being taken down. And this is why men have checked out. Okay, men have checked out because this system ain't for us, man. Trying to play, you know, by the rules of this system, and you know, trying to do right, trying to be a great father, and you know, you do these things, man, but it can be to no avail. You know, trying to be the best husband you can be, and you know, and you do one little thing, and now you ain't shit. So it's like, shit, what's the point? You know, most men just check the fuck out. Okay, you see, you know. So yeah, but going back to the point, and I want to get this because our people, you know, the men of Israel have been so far removed from a ruling class mentality. Okay, till they never, you know, grow up from being, okay, TT's baby. Okay, they never grow out their mode. So everything that they do, okay, the uh the woman, okay, her opinion and emotion is factored in, okay. And when you have a ruling class mentality, okay, you know, all right, there's certain things, okay, that a woman ain't qualified to speak on or have an opinion on, because she not built for that. Certain decisions as a judge, as a leader, okay, when you're, you know, in a leadership position, in your house, okay, in a leadership position within the nation, okay, there's certain things where a woman's opinion and her emotions don't factor in, okay, because it's going to throw off the right decision, okay? So you see these guys with these doctrines of, you know, oh, you can't deal with the heathen woman, or you need to have one woman, you know, that shit, okay? They're thinking about their aunties and, you see, their favorite, you know, female cousin, okay? All they know is, you know, the woman being authoritarian, okay, in the house, okay? And there's that plays Jake, man. It's a lot of underdeveloped Jakes, okay, who can't, all right, bypass, okay, the matriarch programming, man. Okay, so let's go here. This is Deuteronomy chapter 21. All right, Deuteronomy 21 and 10. So let's go into it. It says, this Deuteronomy 21 and 10 says, when thou goest to war against thine enemies, and the Lord thy power have delivered them into thy hands, and thou hast taken them captive, okay, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. And see, this is another thing. This society makes you feel guilty for being a man. Okay, here it is. You know, you got these movies and TV shows. Okay, and you can have, you know, alphabet behavior. Okay, you know, these young Jakes can be degenerate. Okay, like certain, you know, you look at certain shows. Okay, and it's a Jake that's a dope boy, and he's glorified. Okay, everybody loves this nigga. Okay, certain, you know, women. Okay, that's ratchet. And, okay, they can be glorified. Okay, but Jake that looks at another woman, Jake that's married in this society, and he looks at another woman. That's the most devastating thing that can be done in existence. Okay, is an Israelite man, okay, that has a woman and has a desire for another woman. That's the most devastating thing that can happen in existence. Okay, you see, Esau can put cancer causing chemicals in the food. Okay, he can do genocide. Okay, you see, Jake can sell the dope, all the dope he want. Eve can be as ratchet as you want. Okay, Jake can, you know, you see, Jake can be a serial killer, still love. Okay, but if an Israelite man, especially the working class Israelite man, okay, if he has an inkling that he got a desire for another woman, the most devastating thing that can happen in existence. You see? And this is what's been programmed, okay, into the culture. You see? They say, man can go to jail 20 times, okay? And that nigga's gonna be beloved. They gonna put houses up for this nigga. They gonna celebrate every time the nigga come home, okay? You see? But if Uncle Willie Lee was spotted holding, you know, another woman's hand at the park, okay, he's an outcast. He's outed. He's put in exile. You see, and that's the programming that Jake still has, man. Jake still got that mindset of, you know, an Israelite man desiring other women. Okay, as if that's blasphemy. Okay, when we're programmed like that. And the thing is, because especially at this point in the ministry, man, we're not out here just, you know, crazy over women, especially as we mature and learn and deal with women and learn women. It's like, God damn, you know, like like, brothers talk and we see why Yahweh Shah didn't deal with women when he came, you know, because he had such an important assignment, you see, and we see why he didn't compromise the mission, okay? Now, every brother, got their proper gift, not to say, because the Lord gonna have mercy. He gonna deliver whole families, you know, man, woman, children, you know, man, and his whole family. Certain brothers and their whole family, their whole situation is gonna be delivered, and that's gonna be a beautiful thing, okay? But within that, all right, we have to have a true perspective when understanding, okay, the woman, especially the understanding the woman in this setup, understanding what has been done to the woman, okay, understanding, all right, that as men, okay, we gotta do what gotta be done, okay, regardless of the woman's emotions and feelings, okay. If saying this hurts the woman's feelings, okay, it is what it is. We're not gonna, confine ourselves to only teach a certain way, or to only teach on certain things, or try to trim the doctrine, okay, for the sake of sparing the woman's emotions, okay? Because the woman's emotions, okay, for the most time are completely off, okay? And it's based on the woman being selfish as hell, man. Okay? That's another aspect we have to understand. The woman has been cultivated in this society, the modern woman, especially amongst the tribe, to be extremely selfish, man. Okay? And as men, we understand these things and we operate accordingly. Okay? And I say it's not even a thing of, bashing a woman. It's just knowing what it is, okay? Understanding, okay, these women in these times, okay? And operating accordingly, okay? Because that still can't stop the mission or stop what we got going on, okay? Or what the Lord is doing. Because women think, you have certain women think and know that they Israelites, okay? That their emotions, okay, play a factor in how prophecy gonna play out, okay? They think that certain prophecy is gonna play out when they want it to play out, when they ready for it, when they emotions are ready for it. Nah, you see, that ain't the play. You see, so the Lord, just putting, a certain spirit, on these men, they're serious about this thing. Okay, so reading on, it says, "Then thou shalt bring her." I read verse 11 again. It says, "And seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and has a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. Okay? Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and part her nails." And see, Eastern culture, okay, the East is far different from the West. Okay, so when you go into Eastern culture, okay, it wasn't no spitting game and, you know, 10, 30 dates and all that. No, okay. Eastern culture was a aggressive, okay, masculine, straightforward society, man. Okay, there wasn't no DMs and you see the clubs. No, okay. You had men that would go to war. Men of one nation would go to war, okay, with men of another nation. Okay, and to the victor go the spoils. Okay, you see, after you spent, weeks or however many, months, a day or two slaughtering other men, okay, in the aftermath, okay, you will go through, all right, and if it was something you seen, while you was taking, the gold and the fabrics and the spices and the livestock, and as you were spoiling, and it was women that you seen, okay, as you was gathering the spoil, okay, and you was bringing that spoil home, okay, and it was going to benefit you, the women that you already had, okay, you might leave and go to war, okay, and you might, okay, have, 4 goats and 7 sheep, okay, 2 cows and 1, 2 heifers and 1 bull, a few chickens, okay, and when you will come back, you go to war, and you will, and you were the victor, y'all was the victor that day. You see, guess what? You will come home, with 20 goats and 40 sheep. You see, gold. Okay, and if you get more livestock, you need, okay, more servants. So those women, it wasn't saying, that's the thing too. When this society, okay, because most relationships, okay, in modern society, okay, well, everything's been over sexualized, so when you think of a woman, all right, you just think of, somebody to freak off with, okay, you're just thinking these niggas horny, okay, but nah, man, when you would go to war, okay, you would get spoils. Not only was those women, okay, gonna be your wives, but they was gonna be servants, okay, to your wives. You see, because they would be concubines. They wasn't be wives according, okay, to the order for the Israelite man and the Israelite woman. Okay, they will be servant wives. Okay, and if you're bringing home more livestock and more of this and more of that, well, your woman's gonna need some help. Okay, so it wasn't even just a thing based off, just more sex. You know, you see, no, a woman was an extension to your enterprise. Okay, is that a woman was, all right. It made it, okay, easier for a man to build an enterprise, more women. Okay, and that's why the Lord is getting ready to bring that back. Okay, and that's why, it's not expedient to us to just have a bunch of women now. Okay, because we're not in a position of enterprise. Okay, and whatever a brother got, whatever brother, the Lord got, gives a brother, and he can maintain it and maintain his life in the truth, then that's on him. And we don't even have to know. Okay, that's his business. You see, but in the kingdom, okay, the Lord's gonna allow us access, okay, to the earth, man, and the women are included in that. Okay, the Israelite woman, she's gonna be changed. Okay, so she's not even gonna think like she think now. Okay, all these thoughts that the women have, all right, which is 100% of them, give a damn what they say. All right, shit sound good. All right, but all the thoughts that these women have, okay, is based on them being cultivated in America. Okay, and the woman in this society, she ain't gonna be able to shake America. All right, she just got to be changed. She just got to fight with that and endure and overcome that in the clutch. Okay, and the times we're coming into and be changed. Okay, but going back to it, it wasn't just a thing of more women, to have sex with. No, men were enterprising. Men had estates. Okay, men had to think generations ahead. They couldn't just think about that generation. Okay, so it was way bigger than just, more sex. Okay, but Western culture, that's all you think about. Okay, it's a very low frequency, low vibrational interaction between man and woman. Okay, so going back here, he said, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, with just her putting off those gods of her people. Okay, because now she was going to come under the order of the Israelite man, and the Israelite man is under the order of Yahweh Bashim Shai. There's an order to this. You see, when the Bible condemns Jake dealing with the heathen women, because Jake wasn't in order. Okay, and Jake would be persuaded by those women, to other guys. Okay, so there's an order to that. You see, this law was based on the Israelite man being in order. Okay, so when the man is off, then everything else is off. You see, so going back to verse 13, it says, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thy house, and bewail her mother, all right, a full month. And after that, he shall go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. Okay, so you read that today. That's another thing. IUIC had those women looking in these men's faces, they teaching. Okay, so these men are up there teaching, and they go into, and when they get to something like this, they look in the crowd, and the woman looking all in their goddamn face. Okay, she mugging. She got the head wrap. The fringes all over the place. But you get the Deuteronomy 21. Okay, and Jake look out into the crowd. Okay, and see this nigga. All right, see the woman ice grilling his ass. All right, he get to verse 9, and goddamn it, he can feel that pressure. He switch up the whole goddamn. He switch up the whole doctrine, man. Okay, that's why the women shouldn't even be, around men. Okay, as we're teaching. Okay, brothers get together, have class amongst each other. Women shouldn't even be there, because now you got to hinder the doctrine. Okay, you see, now you're trying to hinder the doctrine and make the doctrine stagnant. Okay, to try to appease this nigga American emotions, man, that are based in her selfish ass, man. Okay, so reading on, let's go here. See, the Lord, he's finna bring righteousness back, man. Okay, he's finna bring circumstances for our people to flourish in. Okay, our people have been hostage to the woman's emotions long enough, to her goddamn opinions and selfish ass emotions long enough. Okay, that shit done, is dead. Okay, you see, the fashion of this world, and that's part of the fashion of this world. Okay, where all decisions are factor in the woman's emotions. You see, that's part of the fashion of this world that's finna pass away. Okay, and the Lord has his men, getting out of this spirit, because we always cultivated, and dealing, we was all cultivated in a society where, the woman's opinion, meant everything. Okay, but that's being in the spirit and tapping into, our power. We grow out this shit. Some brothers, was in, was affected more than others. Some brothers, seen men. They seen functioning marriages. They seen, all right, granddaddy, all right, had grandmother in order. They seen grandmother value, all right, her husband. You know, maybe the 2-parent household, whatever. So some brothers seen it, you know. All right, but hey, you know, a lot of us didn't. I seen it. All right, I seen both sides. But I seen, all right, I seen order first. You know, before I seen the dysfunction, I seen the order. First. Okay, but let's go into here. All right, let's go into the book of Ezekiel 36 and get to the point. Because the purpose. Matter of fact, let me get this in Isaiah. All right, because when we come out those chariots, matter of fact, Jeremiah precept just coming to me. So you get this in Jeremiah chapter 30, okay, in verse 16. Because when Yahushua come back, what are we going to do? It said, therefore, Jeremiah 30 and 16 said, therefore, all they that devour thee, okay, shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Okay? So when Yahushua returns, we're going to spoil the earth. We're going to put nations in captivity. Okay? When we come out those chariots, okay, the Israelite women that's going to be delivered, okay, they're going to be good. Okay? And when we touch down in the earth, man, Yahushua, he's going to give brothers their marching orders, okay, to go out to the earth and get the earth together, man. And as we enslaving these heathens, and brothers see particular women that they want, but Deuteronomy 21, okay, it's going to be in effect. Okay, according to their law, because ain't the law going to be in us? Ain't the law going to be in us? And that's another thing. These camps that talk about the law, but then when you go into a law that offends the woman, that will be offensive to the modern, selfish-ass woman, okay, you switch up. You ashamed of it. Okay? Big mama, all right, or your aunt, okay, Lily Mae wouldn't be proud of you. Okay? You see? So, and we're going to have the law in us where that law is going to be in effect. The brothers enslaving, these heathens, and they see something, okay, like, oh, shit. You see? All right? That's just what it's going to be. Okay? I know it's women out there mad and offended now. You're going to be all right. That's the thing, brothers. If you in that spirit to where, you got every decision you make, you got to factor the woman in, get out that shit. Each brother, you run your house like you want it. But as a man, special times we coming into, hey, the woman got to be shut down, man. Okay? Because the woman, all right, don't got it. When I say the woman don't got it, I'm speaking of when it comes to certain decisions that have to be made. Okay? The woman don't got it. She ain't built to make every decision. She can be a help and she can be a great aid, all right, when it comes to particular things. All right, women have great suggestions when it comes to particular things. But there's certain things that has to be done, all right, and they don't got it. Okay? And all of them think they do. They don't got it. Okay, when it comes to certain things. Certain things, they're absolutely amazing. It's like, God damn, shit is great. Okay? But certain things, all right, trash. They ain't built for it. Okay? And that's what, we have to understand as men. Okay? And it says, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds. Okay, we're gonna be perfected. Okay, and the woman, she's not gonna be thinking with a wounded mind. Right now, the woman is operating on a wounded, traumatized mind. Okay, of America and Western culture and nigger culture. Okay, but in the kingdom, she's not gonna be thinking like this. Okay, and it says, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, said the Lord, because they, it says, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Okay, well, Yahweh Shai, he's gonna search us out. He sought us out now through the Spirit, and he's gonna physically, you know, gather us in his return. Okay, and when we come out those chariots, man, all these prophecies are going to be in effect. Isaiah 60. Okay, you go down to 21, 22. It says, I started at 21. It says, thy people shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. Okay, so all of us are going to be righteous, man. We're going to be perfected. Okay, this ain't even going to be a conversation in the kingdom. Okay, we're not going to have to sit the woman down and explain to her what we finna go do. Okay, she's going to be in the background, all right, living her best existence. Okay, forever. Okay, and it says, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. Okay, because this is all going to give glory to our power. Okay, men are going to be able to multiply themselves in the earth. Okay, and every child born is going to give glory to our power. That child is going to be born in perfection and righteousness. There's more righteousness in the earth. Okay, you see, the woman in this mind, the modern woman ain't thinking about that. Okay, she's thinking about how she feel right now. That's it. How did this make her feel right now? That's it. She's not thinking about the bigger picture of what's going on. Okay, and we not here to uh, 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 make them understand it. Okay, we finna run to these thrones, man. Okay, these things are not even gonna be a thought or a conversation, man. You see? So, hey, we in the spirit now, not to even entertain that shit. Okay, if you offended at what we teach, and you still feel some type of way, and you think that you got an understanding that we missing, and and whatever. Okay, all right, okay, we gonna see how this gonna play out. Okay, everybody got to stop, and the woman is used to everybody stopping when she, all right, is offended. Okay, nigga culture has pampered the woman to where when she's offended, everything got to stop. Okay, until she in the mood to, till she hit the play button again. No, that's over with, man. That shit is done. Okay, it's over with, man. You see? Yeah, please, uh, okay, nah, that's over with, man. Okay, and you'll be stressed to find, okay, men that still playing them goddamn games, man. Even Drake in the world ain't on that time. All right, but some of the biggest simps, okay, and Carl Winslow and Philip Banks, okay, are men with fringes on. They talk about the law all day, okay, and it says, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified, man. Okay, so the Lord is going to allow, verse 22, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. The Lord will hasten it in his time, man. The Lord, this is the will of the Lord, what he wants to do. Okay, he's going to hasten these things, man. Okay, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, they're not thinking about, okay, a woman is offended. Okay, and they're offended at the Lord. Okay, you can say she's the GMS niggas. Oh, you offended at the Lord. Okay, the Lord got everything set up according to His wisdom. Okay, that's why men are made a certain way. Okay, women are made a certain way. Okay, the way He got the family structure set up is all according to His wisdom. Okay, and Western culture, okay, cultivates you to be against the wisdom and the will and the righteousness of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Okay, and we not here to pacify your ass. Okay, stop listening, unsubscribe, go, you know, go follow one of these bug out groups that, still put you on the pedestal, and, you know, you know, give you this Jaheen, okay, doctrine. Okay, go do what you do. All right, because we not small minded, man. We know if the nigga woman in America don't stop no show, man. Okay, all right, she's really not even a factor to what the Lord finna bring. The Lord gonna have mercy on, you few sisters that's sincere. Hey, the Lord gonna have mercy, man. But the majority of you that's full of shit, okay, selfish as hell, okay, feel entitled and old and still think you some goddamn goddess, okay. All right, well, we'll see. All right, but the Lord finna cause this to happen, man. Okay, and right now the main thing is making it past the hour of temptation, man. We got forever to do that. Okay, we got forever to enjoy the blessings of the Lord, man, the promises, man. All right, men finally being able to be men in the earth. Okay, so that's the point. Just wanted to go into that. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters, edified. Till next time I say shalom. Kwam Yashala, Abab, Abab, Soon Shalom.